It was a sunny morning when Jake, a curious and cheerful boy, decided to explore the attic of his house. "I wonder what treasures I'll find up there today," he said to himself. As he climbed up the wooden stairs, he spotted an old, dusty backpack hidden in the corner. "Whoa, this looks interesting," Jake exclaimed, brushing off the dust. The backpack had colorful patterns and a small emblem on the front that sparkled faintly in the light. Jake didn't know it yet, but this backpack was special, magical even. "Hi there," said a soft, cheerful voice. Startled, Jake looked around. "Who said that?" "It's me, the backpack," the voice replied. Jake couldn't believe his ears. "A talking backpack? Wait, you can talk?" he asked, his eyes wide with surprise. "Of course, and I can do much more. If you put something inside me, I'll tell you its name." In English. Excited, Jake grabbed a notebook from a nearby shelf and placed it inside the backpack. "Notebook," the backpack announced cheerfully. Jake smiled. "This is going to be fun," he said. "Today, we're going to learn the names of everyday objects," the backpack explained. "And by the end of this adventure, you'll know so much more English." "Let's get started," Jake said, already imagining what else the magical backpack could teach him. Jake couldn't wait to see what else the magical backpack could do. He looked around the attic for more objects to test its powers. Spotting a pen on a nearby table, he quickly placed it inside the backpack. "Pen," the backpack announced, its voice as cheerful as before. "Wow, that's amazing," Jake said, holding the pen up and repeating the word. "Pen, pen, this is fun." Next, he found a pencil and slipped it into the backpack. "Pencil," it said. Jake repeated, "Pencil." "Got it. What else can I find?" He searched the attic and found a pair of scissors. When he tried to place them in the backpack, it giggled. "I don't know that one yet," the backpack said. Jake frowned. "Wait, you don't know scissors?" "Not yet. You'll have to teach me." Jake laughed. "Okay, I'll find something else." He picked up an eraser and dropped it inside. "Eraser," the backpack exclaimed. Jake repeated the word, then looked out the attic window. The sun was shining brightly, and he remembered he needed to head to school. "Time to go," Jake said, slinging the backpack onto his shoulders. "Don't forget me," the backpack said. Jake smiled. "I wouldn't dream of it." He walked down the stairs, eager to see how the magical backpack would surprise him next. Jake was on his way to school, the backpack securely slung over his shoulder. He couldn't stop smiling, thinking about all the new words he was learning. As he walked through the neighborhood, he saw his friend Max standing on the sidewalk, looking a bit confused. "Hey, Max. What's up?" Jake called out. Max turned and smiled. "Hey, Jake. I'm having trouble with my bag. It's so heavy. Can I help you?" Jake asked, remembering what the backpack had taught him. Max looked at him and laughed. "Sure. But what do you have in that backpack?" Jake opened it up and showed Max the contents. "It's my magical backpack. It tells me the names of everything in English." Max raised an eyebrow. "Really? That's awesome. What's inside it?" Jake smiled and pulled out the first object, a notebook. "Notebook," he said. "This is a notebook." Max nodded. "Oh, cool. I think I know that one." Jake pulled out the pen. "Pen," he said. "This is a pen." "Pen. Got it," Max repeated. Then Jake took out a pencil. "Pencil," he said, holding it up for Max to see. "Pencil. I know that one too," Max said, impressed. Jake grabbed a book from his bag and placed it inside the magical backpack. "Book," the backpack announced. Max's eyes lit up. Book, that's easy. What else? Jake reached for an umbrella from his bag. Umbrella, he said. Umbrella. That's a new one. Max repeated, clearly enjoying the game. Jake laughed. It's fun, right? This backpack is teaching me so many things. Max looked at the backpack with curiosity. I wish I had one of those. Jake smiled. You can learn with me. I'll teach you. As they walked together to school, Jake and Max kept practicing their new words, laughing and having fun. Jake couldn't wait to see what other surprises the magical backpack had in store. When Jake and Max arrived at school, they were excited to share the magical backpack with their classmates. As they entered the classroom, Mrs. Parker, their teacher, greeted them. Good morning, boys. What's that you have there, Jake? She asked, pointing to the backpack. This is my magical backpack, Jake said proudly. It teaches me English. It says the names of everything I put inside it. That sounds fun, Mrs. Parker said with a smile. What's inside it today? Jake opened the backpack and pulled out a ruler. Ruler, he said. Ruler, Max repeated. I know that one. Then Jake grabbed an eraser from his desk and placed it in the backpack. Eraser, the backpack announced. Eraser, Max echoed, grinning. Let me try, said Sarah, one of Jake's classmates. She reached into the backpack and pulled out a lunchbox. Lunchbox, she said, repeating the word after the backpack. Lunchbox. That's a good one, Jake said, nodding. As the class continued, Jake and his friends took turns placing different objects into the backpack. They laughed and practiced saying the new words, from glue to crayon. Everyone was having so much fun that even Mrs. Parker decided to join in. Can I try? She asked. Of course, Jake replied. Mrs. Parker pulled out a pencil case and said, Pencil case. Everyone repeated together. Pencil case. The classroom was filled with laughter and the sound of students practicing English. Jake felt proud of how much everyone was learning, thanks to his magical backpack. As the bell rang for recess, Jake packed up his things, eager to continue his adventure with the backpack. But just as he was about to leave, something strange happened. He tried to place a pair of scissors inside the backpack, but the backpack giggled and said, I don't know that one. Jake raised an eyebrow. What? You don't know scissors? The backpack giggled again. Not yet, but maybe you can teach me. Jake laughed. All right, I'll teach you. As Jake sat down in the schoolyard during recess, he couldn't stop thinking about how much he and his friends had learned. The magical backpack had turned their ordinary day into a fun, exciting English lesson. Now, Jake felt ready to take a moment to reflect on all the new words they had discovered together. Okay, let's go over what we learned today, Jake said, pulling out his notebook. He began listing the objects they had practiced with the backpack. First, we had notebook. That one's easy, right? A notebook is something you use to write in school, Jake said, looking at his friends. Next, we had pen. A pen is what you use to write. And pencil is another tool for writing. He paused to make sure everyone was following. Remember how I showed you the book? Jake asked. A book is something you read. So far, we've got notebook, pen, pencil, and book. Max nodded. I think I've got those down. Jake continued. Then we had umbrella. You use an umbrella when it's rainy or sunny, outside to protect yourself. Ruler is used to measure things, and eraser helps you erase mistakes. Sarah chimed in. I liked the word lunchbox. That's where I keep my food for lunch. Jake smiled and agreed. Exactly. And don't forget pencil case. That's where we keep our pens and pencils. He turned to the group and asked, Can anyone remember any other words we learned today? Max raised his hand. Scissors, Right, Jake said. Scissors are used for cutting things. But the backpack didn't know that word yet, did it? Nope, Max laughed. That's funny. Jake chuckled. It's okay. We can teach it together. The group smiled, feeling proud of how many words they had learned in such a short time. Jake felt like he was on a new adventure, one that was just beginning. Now, let's take a moment to talk about how we can use these words in real life. Jake said, you can say, "Can I help you?" when you want to offer help to someone. For example, if your friend has a heavy backpack, you can say, "Can I help you with that?" Max nodded and repeated, "Can I help you?" Jake continued, you can use these words at school, at home, or even at the store. And remember, practice makes perfect. The more you say the words, the easier it gets. After reviewing everything they had learned, Jake was eager to put the new words into practice. Okay, everyone, he said with a smile. It's time for a challenge. His friends gathered around, curious about what Jake had planned. Here's what we're going to do, Jake explained. I'm going to show you some pictures, and I want you to say the word in English. If you don't know it, don't worry, I'll help you. He pulled out a set of flashcards from his backpack. Each card had a picture of an object they had learned, like a notebook, pen, and ruler. Ready? Jake asked, holding up the first card. It was a picture of a book. Book? Max called out, grinning. That's right, Jake said. Let's move on to the next one. Jake held up the next card, which showed an umbrella. What's this? I know. Umbrella, Sarah said confidently. Great job, Jake praised. Now here's the next one. He showed a picture of a pencil. Pencil, shouted Max. You got it, Jake said, feeling proud. The game continued with Jake showing different objects and his friends eagerly shouting out the names. They practiced ruler, eraser, and even lunchbox. With each new card, they repeated the words, laughing and helping each other. Now, it's your turn, Jake said, turning to his friends. I want you to use one of these words in a sentence. For example, I could say, I use a pencil to write in my notebook. Can you try that? Max thought for a moment. Okay. I use an umbrella when it's raining. That's awesome, Max, Jake said. Who's next? Sarah raised her hand. I use a ruler to measure my paper. Well done, Sarah, Jake exclaimed. Everyone is doing such a great job with these sentences. Now, I want you all to try this challenge at home, Jake said. Look around and try to find these objects. Say the words out loud and practice making sentences. You can do it. The group felt energized and excited. Let's keep practicing, even after school, Max said enthusiastically. Absolutely, Jake agreed. Learning English can be fun, especially when we do it together. As the school day came to an end, Jake packed his magical backpack with all the new objects they had practiced. The backpack was now full of memories and English words. He felt proud of how much he and his friends had learned. Today was awesome, Jake said, closing the backpack with a smile. I can't believe how many words we've learned in just one day. You were right, Jake. This backpack really is magical, Max said, laughing. I can't wait to try it at home, Sarah added. I'll practice all the words we learned today. Jake nodded. That's the key. The more we practice, the better we get. And remember, it's okay if we don't know every word right away. The important thing is to keep trying. He looked at his friends and gave them a thumbs up. You all did great today. I'm so proud of us. As Jake walked home, he reflected on how much fun learning English had been. With the magical backpack by his side, it felt like every day was a new adventure. I'm excited for what comes next, Jake thought. Who knows what new words we'll learn tomorrow? Before he entered his house, Jake paused and turned back toward the street. Remember, he said out loud to no one in particular, learning English isn't just about words. It's about having fun and keeping an open mind. So don't give up, no matter what. With that, he stepped inside, ready to keep practicing and learn even more. After all, every small step counts toward making progress. See you soon, Jake said, as he gave his magical backpack a gentle pat. Let's keep learning together. And with that, the story of Jake and his magical backpack continued. As they both embarked on more adventures in the world of English language learning,